Alright folks, welcome to the Bristol Channel. Today we are targeting cod. So me and Gavin's up here, Battery Point, low water. A lot of people fish this over high water, but I know I've experienced from when I was in the younger years. I used to spend a lot of time up here. Now, got to fish it a little bit differently. It can be quite snaggy. Fishing one rod each, massive crab bait. Now I'll show you what I've got here. I'm actually fishing crab and prawn, alright, cocktail, big 7/0 hooks and a big 6/0 chinny on the top, 8-ounce leads to hold bottom, and yeah, we're going to give it a go. So obviously my leads here, I'm pulling out to make sure they grip, and it's only a small tide. I wouldn't fish this on no big tides. I mean, especially over where we are, we're actually right onto the point now. There's the guys to the right and left of us. We're where we wanted to be. When we got here this morning, some guys turned up and they went left into the bay. We were hoping to get this mark what we're on here today. I find it, especially as it starts to flood, obviously a bait start moving with the tide, and you normally see a few good fish out and moping. So we've had one out first cast. What was it? 314. 314. So it's a start, and yeah, hopefully a few more out for the day. What we want.
It's over the top of me, that.
Huh?
It's over the top.
Yeah, he's alright. Go from the side. Just letting that lead drop. You can see how deep it is here. I'm just letting it drop now. Just stop now. So it can be very snaggy here, but one of the most famous marks on the Bristol Channel. I mean, where we're fishing at the moment, some of the cod spots come back out of this venue in the 80s, 70s, 80s and 90s. Phenomenal, one of the top cod marks, but it can be quite challenging and can be quite rough, but you just got to accept the losses and gain the rewards. So yeah, that's got with the tide. Yeah. See, that was the best time to be here when we were there when they go. See the legs? Your legs just held as well, and yeah, mine just did. Yeah. As soon as the tide starts pushing, you got to hit him far left and then slightly up tide.
That looks like a nice one.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's flat. This is the one. So folks, that's what we've had so far. Just under £4. Gonna take this home for a bit of supper. I mean, you can't beat a nice bit of cod. Treat the family tonight. I mean, look at that, prime. Not the one we want, but I'm just gonna show you some in a minute. The size of that mouth. Had a comment on there saying people don't need to use 7/0 hooks. I'm not being funny, guys, especially fishing where I'm at the moment. I'd go up to 10/0 hooks. You got a chance of hitting into a monster, and the smaller hook you got, the more chance if the fish has hit it and still got its mouth open, the hook can come out. I'm not saying you've got to use them all the time, but we're up here targeting those massive cod, and I know for certain I would like to use 7/0 pluses, and the reason I'm using 7s, we've got a chance of a fawny here as well, and fawny would be lovely. So that's what we're after today. Hopefully they get a bit bigger. So we have Battery Point, so I'll just go through it a little bit with you. So that's a bay mark. You can fish that on slightly bigger tides. I wouldn't want to fish here on a bigger tide, but a great method for fishing in there for cod is live baiting. So get like a small fish bait, 3/0 hook, something like that. Try and get like a whiting on, and then put like a 10/0 or even bigger hook further up the trace, maybe 8 or 9 inches. So you basically get that whiting coming on, and all you get is that tap, 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 tap. When they're whiting are in the numbers, and then just put it on ratchet, just go tap, 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 and eventually, hopefully, you'll see some massive cod come along and smash the whiting. I mean, I know a guy who I met up here years and years ago, going back like early 90s, mid 90s, and he great lad. He passed away unfortunately now, but he sort of like showed us the basis of this sort of area. I mean, when we first come up here back then, we didn't have a clue, and used to come and get snagged up. I was down where mate is down on the left there. I actually started learning the pendulum cast down there, and took a dip one day, falling over. But as you can see, the tides here is perfect, real small tide, and yeah, it's Wales in the background. As you can see there, and then you've got you're the bite then, Gav. And then we go over to the right hand side, so basically there's a couple of anglers just perched up on there now, and then you go further around to the brickworks. But fantastic mark for over the years. Don't fish like it used to, but it can be rewarding. But as you can see here, we're only fishing one rod, and the reason we're fishing one rod, you can fish one rod better. I mean, you want to get the fish straight away, especially if you get a big one and it pulls the lead, it will come right around to the right. Obviously we've got anglers to the right hand side of us, and same the guy to the left hand side bringing one in now. He's fishing one rod. I know the guys to the right, I think you've got two rods set up. They'll find that quite hard, I would have thought, as it starts to flood a little bit. But hopefully we get those big smashing over rod tips today. See a double figured each. Big G's turn now. Hey. Well, rods are in the water. Can't ask for much more. Tide's pulling quite hard, so we're only fishing one rod each at the minute. But hopefully we'll pull another fish out. Now I like to get up here 2 hours before low water, fish it down. Normally I'd move further right and right again, but I think it's going to be busy today, so we might see how we get on here, but we might go off to another mark, I reckon, if it gets too packed. But no, the only trouble we might have is where we're casting. Obviously we're casting out onto the tide line, is the lead's coming around, so you've got to be careful with other anglers and stuff like that, especially when you're fishing two rods. Is that my ratchet? Something's clicking away there.
Yeah, I think it is, man.
Yeah, the tide's pulling quite hard. But no, it's just nice to meet a local. He subscribes to the channel, watches all the videos and stuff, and he just popped over and said hello. It's always nice to meet people at the end of the day. So if you do see us on the rocks, we're very approachable, so don't be afraid to come over and say hello. It's always nice to meet the people that view and watch the productions and stuff. I mean, over the years, you got, yeah, I think it's you, Gav, isn't it?
My ratchet.
Yeah, it's always nice to meet you lot, you know what I mean? So if you ever see us, I've had messages before and say, oh, we saw you at such and such, didn't want to say hello, I thought you were obviously busy fishing. But now, if you see us, come over and say hello, guys. Honestly, it would be really nice to meet you all. I know there's probably a few of you to meet, but yeah, it is what it is, you know what I mean? It's always nice to meet people out, and it's all part of the fishing. That tide's pulling. I've got my ratchet on quite tight here at the minute, and it's still, the tide's still starting to pull. I mean, I like, as I was saying to Gav a minute ago, I like it when you can hit it far up left, let it pull right in, and you can just feel your lead dropping and just touch bottom. When you get that for a very short period, exactly when we had that fish then, and you find to get it, as you fish like a tide's like on the drop, and as it starts dropping away down to low water, you'll get some decent fish up between that couple of hours. In a minute, it will start going. But we'll keep at it. I think one rod each for the time being. We've got loads of bait, bucket full of peeler crab. Prawn's fantastic from Hooker's Baits. I mean, the prawn is going to be a killer, that one. We'll have a look at some of them a bit later on. But we've got some squid and bluey in that as well. So yeah, just keep at it, I suppose. Keep at it. Here's to a good day's fishing. Rod tip's bent right over. That's it running. So I've gone for the Pen Fathoms. Gav's got the Saltists.
Yeah, black and blues. Black
and blues, magged up as well. See that ratchet going? It's a tide there. Important to set your drag here, really. You got a chance of a good ray as well, guys. So you never know, do you? But the trouble it can be here is weed. I said that to Gav before we come up. Is if the weed turns on, it can end the session sometimes because it'll just bring you far right straight away. I mean, there was a tree in the water earlier on, wasn't there? Yeah. You wouldn't want to hit into that. Hopefully we're in for a good session. What a day, look. What a day. There's bridges up there on the right. I think, I'm not sure it is, I've got to go up and say hello later on if it is, but I think that's one of the lads from Western Outcast who comes up to the brid. It looks like him. If it is, he lost his waders every year. Tom, I think he's called. I think that was his old man. I can't remember his name now. If it is, I'll go and say hello. But try going off. Let's have a look. So, that one down here, isn't it? Bait up. So I'm going to go for, getting a bit chilly. I'm going to go for a squid bait. I'm going to go for a fawny here now. But got 2 small squids. Watch me go for a fawny and get a cod. Always the way, isn't it? But so what I'm going to do, big old hooks here, like 7/0s. I'm after a monster fawny, so it'll take it. Hopefully it keeps the other fish, smaller fish away. But I just brought that back in now. Line was tangled up. I think it was an eel. But no, we'll just get on. I got 2 squids like that. So, and then basically all I'm going to do is bring it round like that, like so, and yeah. Get some massive fawnies up here, you can do. So hopefully that'll work a treat. So what I'll do is I'll bring that top hook right down, pull him tight so it's locked into both squids. Just gonna fish a squid bait now. But we've got a mixture of everything here. Got some squid, got some black lug, prawn, bluey and crab. So yeah, I'm gonna go and cast this one out now. But hopefully I can get a few fish out. Okay guys, gonna whack one out here now. I'll take the mags off slightly and try and get one out. I'm gonna hammer him as far as I can left, let him drop down straight away, and hopefully he pulls around in front. But there's no guarantee. That tie's belting through now, so we'll just have to have a look.
Hit your horizon, Andy.
Yeah. On the start you go left and let him pull round, mate, you alright?
Yeah, you carry on, buddy.
Yeah, I've got to go in beyond that.
End of a cast.
Just drop there now. Cheers, buddy. Just drop there now. So we're getting back on the tripod. I'm hoping that's going to hold up there now. You got yours? Is yours dropped? No, I'm.
Hold round way again.
You're right, that's out there. That's out there, guys. That is out there. Now I've got to set this now properly because I'm fishing for a ray. So because I'm fishing for a ray, I don't want it as tight. I want the fish to be able to take it, but at the same time I'm going to have to adjust my drag to the tide because I've literally punched that as far as I could that way and it's pulled straight around to the right. But what it'll do is it'll hold up on the bank, and there's a tide line there now, so we're just, me and Gav's both trying to hit him to the horizon, get him in that tide. I feel, and I think Gav would agree with me, that sometimes hitting that tide line, you agree with that? You're getting to the fish.
Yeah.
It's strange, especially on the channel, when you look at the marks, like especially the high water marks where you're going on like Lilstock and places like that, and you've got that tide line there, you want to get into that tide. Anywhere with a tide line really. And it makes sense in a way, because when me and Geff went up after the stingers, up on the Solent, the tide line was quite far out at one stage, we went into the horizon. The tide line dropped right in, and I mean dropped into about 40 or 50 yards. Geff simply went out, oh, he could have lobbed it, that's how close he was from the shore. Had the only stingray of the day, I'm hitting him to the horizon. They were sat on the tide line, and it can make, I think they sit out and they wait and just come into the tide and out of the tide really. But my lead's just settling up here now. Just wanted to hold 8-ounce leads. Yeah, see if we can get one out then. Just a waiting game now. It's less hectic fishing one rod, but we talked about it the other day, and I think sometimes you can fish better fishing one rod. You're like more concentrated on it. We got no chance fishing two rods where we're fishing at the minute. You're right out in that tide, it's pulled over, you get a fish on, you'd be on it instantly. And yeah, it's one of them really. But we've done a little topic. It was nice to hear loads of people's opinions back on from the last video regarding different things really. And one question we had come in was regarding how many rods you're allowed to fish. Now, it's one of them. I think from what I've been told, I've done some research into it. I've spoke to the Wyvern, our local region, who deals with like the southwest sort of side for the Angling Trust, and they basically informed me that any club fishing, anything what's wading through the angling through the Wyvern, is a maximum of 2 rods. You shouldn't be using no more than 2 rods. Now, I get it. I've always thought that was the process of it, and the rules of it. So if you're fishing in a club, you shouldn't be fishing any more than 2, and wading into the Wyvern, you shouldn't be fishing no more than 2 rods at any one time. There's nothing stopping you going down to Cornwall and doing a bit of float fishing and a bit of pollocking and a bit of like spinning for mackerel and having 4 rods set up. But you should only have 2 rods in the water at any one time. Now, we'll never answer to the question by someone from Wales, and he was saying, what about when we're tope fishing basically and we're trying to bring in mackerel? I get that, because at the end of the day you've got 2 rods out for tope and you want to be spinning from fresh mackerel to put in. But unfortunately, if you're in a club and you're spinning for fresh mackerel and you've got 2 rods in the water and you bring a 2 pound mackerel in, you're going to weigh that in for the club. And if you've got 2 rods in the water already, now it's an odd one. I don't think you can ever get it right, and I don't think everybody's going to abide by the rules, but rules are set in place. I for one would follow the rules. I always have done, and I think that especially when you're competing and that, if you don't follow the rules, you are cheating, and it's one of them. But one thing I do find especially is I get a lot of messages, phone calls, emails, and people were saying stuff and like basically asking me questions and getting my views and stuff like that on it. But I don't see a lot of people basically standing up for the fact of it, and especially when it comes to cheating and stuff like that. I think more and more people should stand up and say, look, I've had enough of it, we've had enough of it. There's a lot of talk goes on behind it, but there's no one ever actually saying, look, we need to put a stop to this is what's happening and stuff, and bringing the issue forward. And I think it's going to be controversial all the time, because a lot of people don't want the hassle of it. I mean, I don't want the hassle of having to go online and ask loads of questions and like go into debates where people are basically putting messages back to me and putting their opinions and being like, turn it into an argument really. I don't allow that anyway, because at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and it's one of them, isn't it? But Gav's going to cast one out now. Nice prawn and squid bait on. So we'll get him casting out, but I don't think you're never going to get it 100% right. You're never going to keep everybody happy at the end of the day. But yeah, we're going to get into the session now. I aimed for that flat building next to those towers to the left there, mate. Look, all that weed coming around now. You can see that tide, guys, can you? Look at my rod tip, look. It's literally pulled right over. And I've got a nice squid bait on that, ready for a fawny hopefully, but you never know. But yeah, lovely day for it, no rain today, and yeah, been enjoying it. I used to fish this sort of neck of the woods many years ago when I first started fishing. Lady Bay, Porter's Head, Slipway, Brickworks, you know what I mean, all up around here really, and it's got a bit more popular over the past few years, and people tend to come up this end of the neck of the woods for big smooth hounds, and it can really produce some really good fish. I don't think the cod fishing's like it used to be, but I've got a mark around here which I go from time. I used to go to time to time. I used to love it up there for the bass. I mean, you're guaranteed like a couple of bass in the session there, especially over the top of the tide. It's a lovely little mark. It's sort of like a gully forms up. Maybe I'll fish it over the next couple of months. We've got me and Gav will go up and have a session up there, but it's just a nice venue to fish really, especially for the bass. I think my biggest bass in there is only about £6, but really your average stand of fish up here for a bass is £5 or £6, I would say. Between £4 to £6 for a bass. You tend to get a few big ones up here, don't you? But you can see down there now, I don't know if you can pick that up, but look at that tide where it's like just swirling around. Tide meeting tide, and just, yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want. But you can see that these trees and that being pulled through. Look at that tide there now, look. Phenomenal. Hopefully that's where the fish are. That's where the fish are. There he goes. To infinity and beyond. Bay's starting to cover up there now. Depending how we get over here, I'm hoping we can stay here for a bit. It'd be nice. Depends how far the tide comes up. I don't think it's going to come up too far today. You never know though. You never know. Boo! Straight out there. Yes. That's where you want him. That's where you want him. Wait for it to drop. Deep, deep. I love this mark, I really do. Just pull that bait in there now, and it's fine. So I'm not going to play around it too much here. What I'm going to do is take a bluey, alright? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut his head off, just right in behind the and what I'm going to do is take a finger size bit up through like that. I'm just going to basically put that on my finger right into the centre of my palm. I'm going to come to the top of it like that. I've got squid already on there. There's nothing wrong with it. So because it's come back in like that, it's pointless. So the bluey will give me what I need out of it. So I've got two big 7/0 hooks there, and then I've got the bluey attached like so. Just the squid's just something to bind it to, because you put bluey out on its own and it's a really soft bait, where you mix it with a bit of squid. You've both got a bulky bait there now, lots of scent, and you know what cod are like, they loves a bit of bluey. But I want a fawny out now, if I'm honest, or a £10 cod. So get that up around there. Tied on, all that scent come out of that, lovely, lovely. Believe it or not, we just had a tree float past us, that's why I just brought that in. But there you go, nice, perfect, big fat juicy bait, ready for a cod or a thornback. But that tide is absolutely hammering through at the minute. We're about half tied up, see how long we get on here. But let's get one out then. So we're fishing at the minute. You want a good pair of boots if you're coming down on here, and I mean a good pair of boots. It's very slippy, and yeah, I'd recommend definitely putting some good footwear on. If you're going down to land fish, I would look at bringing a rope with me next time, especially where it was earlier on. I mean, if we get something big on, we got to try and get down there. I've got a gaffer to steady myself up, but yeah, hopefully we can get whatever we need to get out. But rig wise, so I've got about a 2.5 3 foot pulley on here. There's a £100 chameleon on there with a breakaway imp. All right, I've got a Gemini upside down link clip, bent link clip there. It's not a Gemini actually, I think I'm not sure who they are. They're the black ones. They've got a slightly longer thread, which I've bent over more. Got £20 line with a couple of nuts on it, 8-ounce lead from Seacast leads, and then basically all I'm going to do is, what I tend to do is move that back around there like that, so it's on the opposite side, like that. It's just for casting really. Just move them out of the way. The lead will sort itself out when it drops off, but it just holds them in like so. And then I've got a couple of beads. I've got a pulley link clip by Breakaway, £100 Gemini swivel, going down to £100 Gardener, that is, trace line, with a couple of 6 and 7/0 hooks, big squid and bluey bait. But let's get that out to get us a cod. Right, I've hammered that out to the left there now. That is stopping. That is coming around.
I think, like you said, though, I think it hit the bank. Should be alright there.
Is he? Yeah, isn't he?
It's gone over mine, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, put yours back in that side. The main thing you've got to watch out for in a minute is the tripod. We've got it anchored up underneath a bit of stone here, but it's lifting. You don't want it lifting at all, because it wouldn't take a lot at this precise moment for that to just get pulled over. There you go. Right, we're fishing.
Oh.
Some boys on the boats going out to enjoy the channel for the day. Whee! Rod's nearly went over. Good job Gav was on there, man. Channel Explorer 2, huh? Little boat trying to keep up. Gavin's rod's going over. What do you reckon, Weed? Will he going on? Yeah, he's like, yeah. Either Gav's got a bite, he's got weed on. Right. Fish? I have to say at this moment, isn't it? If it's taken off, there's a good chance it is. Of that weed. We've got our...
I can feel it dragging for it.
Is it? I think it's weed. Lead still on, yeah? Can end the session, this, guys. We soon be able to tell. If we keep it in bait sound, they're covered in weed, then we might head off somewhere else. Whoa, you're under me now. Oh, you come under me.
Am I under here, am I?
Yeah, yeah. Go on there. Right. I'll put this down a minute, boys. Well, we're back at it. Gav's bait's fully intact. He did have weed on it. The trouble is, if there's a lot of weed on the floor, then the bait's not got a chance, have they? I'll bring mine in now. Right folks, I had a couple of knocks. I'm not sure if it's tide and weed, but I'm going to bring him in anyway. That's locked in solid at the minute. Find out there, shall we? We're down on this flat platform here a minute. Lock in. Feel it coming through. Yeah. Weed. Three on my line down here. No, I'll down there. It's a nightmare. Lose my lead here. Fortunately, it's what we've got to put up with. Trees. You've got no chance mucking around with that, have you? You know what I mean? There it goes. Try and get this one back in. I think I'm going to lose this. Lost the lead. Hopefully not got the boys line next to me. Exactly the same again. It can be the joys of fishing this place. As I said before, it's it can end sessions this up here, but if you can proceed and carry on and put up with it, the rewards are there. It's just a very tidal mark, which is part and parcel of fishing, I'm afraid. There you go. One lead lost. One bit of tree. So put that in beyond that rocker, so don't go back in the water. Get another one out. Whee! Gavin's flown one to the horizon there. Hopefully we can get another one out within seconds and get some more. Tips that. So I'm going to take all that crap was on there off now. There it is. Look at that. That is prime prawn. Prime prawn. Purchased from Hooker's Baits. They sell them by the box, so you can buy them in smaller packs. And yeah, they deadly, absolutely deadly. Cod, thornback rays, big bass, perfect winter bait. I mean, a lot of guys down here in this neck of the woods, down where we live, go out with prawn nets and collect them over the winter period, but you'll find them hard to get them that size all the time, and just a cracking bait. What I find, they're a bait, there's something about prawn, and I think it is the deadly scent of it. They don't look like nothing, they don't smell like nothing, but it's that orange goo what comes out of them, what just turns them into something very, very special. But what did I do with my bait elastic in the box? Here we go. Good job Gav's here, because I'd lose everything. Right, so What I'm going to do with this, I'm going to fish it as half baits, all right? So I like to go up to my thumb, just nip the end off. Okay, so you've got the front with all the scent and stuff, right? I'm going to bind this with a crab. But first things first is get rid of all the stuff what's on this hook. So I'm just going to get rid of all the rubbish, what's left over on this bait. Okay. Get rid of it all. Okay, got the pen of work. We're going to slide back up for the minute, like so. Now, right on the end there, cushioned in, I get the power gun, £14, and basically I'm making a knot. Basically turn it on myself, go around 7 times, pull tight, and I use that just to cushion the knot. So if that pennel knot comes down, it basically goes against that and it protects the top of the knot. Ideal, really. I was using rubber beads for ages, but the rubber beads I've just got are rubbish. So that's what I've been doing. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that down the prawn like so, out through the other end. All right, like that. Bring him out proud. Got a crab bait then, right? I'm going to put on the other side of the prawn. People fish for different for cod differently, all right? But I'm not going to sit there and say you've got to fish the way I fish for them, because you don't. At the end of the day, a lot of people use smaller hooks and enjoy catching smaller fish at the same time. The whole point of me using this now is for the simple fact that we're targeting one of those massive cods, and if that big cod comes along, what I don't want it to do is pick up the bait and the hook's too small to set. Not all the time, but like the question I had the other day, what sits better on the tide, a pulley rig or running up and over? I would class a pulley up and over, running up and over, better to sit in the tide than the pulley rig. It leaves a long flowing trace with your bait well away from the rig body, which is less likely to spook the fish, but each to their own. Up here, I wouldn't fish it just because of the rough ground we're fishing. But if I can fish somewhere like Chesil and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10 with that rig, you're going to gut hook a fish. And where me and Gav were fishing on the beach the other day, the dump was just phenomenal, trying to get a fish in over it. I mean, we lost fish doing it. And you don't want to be losing it, especially like the cod. Get it gut hooked, get him back over, and you've got more chance bringing him over the shingle and as a dump push forward without losing the fish. So each to their own at the end of the day, isn't it? And yeah, so that's that bit there done. I'm going to bring down my bottom bit now, leave that bait there. Right, so what I've got to do here is start again. It's got a little bit of line there, chuck him off and put him in there. I can put him in my box and take it home. And then I've got old Ultima F1, which I use for my rig body, for my trace rotten bottoms really. So I just basically put it in through the loop like that, and then I'll just do the knot first time. All right, I'm gonna pull that down through like that, lick it, pull tight. Don't want it too loose, all right? And then what I'll do then, if I snip that off, I come down about 12 inches, snip it again, these scissors are rubbish, and then up the top then I'll go round once, loop, round twice, loop, right? So it's got 2 knots in there now. And then we'll pull back on the lead like that, pull back on the lead like that, pull back on the lead like that, right? And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn him over, I'm going to fold him in on himself, just to give him extra strength to hold. We don't want these breaking out. And then Gav's got pliers somewhere, but I'm going to do this with my hand. I just bend the ends in. Cheating really, you need a pair of pliers, work better. Pull them in again, just make sure that lead locks into place, alright? Just locks in there, and then I can basically get that on the end there like that now, put it through like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull that down like that, flick him up. That's ready. So that there will just basically turn in. Now I want, it's gone the wrong way really. I go through that way like that. So like that. So the imp's back away from where you hook the bit on, so that way the line just sits on the back of the imp. It doesn't get away from when I'm clipping the bait down. So I can hold him like that there then. Pull the lead down onto the imp. Streamline for casting. So let's get one out now. Get another one out. Watch yourself, Gav.
Yeah, you're right.
Go around. Keep the cast point up for me.
I'm going to get another one out here now. Tide's starting to slow down a bit, so we're going to try and hit him out to the far to the left and see if we can work a cod in. Get on the tripod.
We wedged it in.
Yeah. Gathered about want to hit one out to the riser now. It goes. So, about, I don't know, a couple of hours up to high water now, and the tide should start easing off a little bit, and hopefully we can see a few fish out. I mean, at the moment we're hitting them far left still, and they're pulling around, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to be covered in weed straight away. But it's part and parcel of this type of fishing, where you are in the venue. You just got to fish it as it is. I wouldn't recommend fishing on a massive tide. You wouldn't get away with where we are, because it'd be covered in water where we are as well. So yeah, but I'm going to go back to that topic we talked about the other day with cheating. Now, all part and parcel of it is obviously talks and different things and discussions and that for everybody to get involved with. Now, someone put their opinion across to me the other day, and it made me think a little bit, because the other day when I said about cheating and said obviously being red carded and stuff, and one of the guys who I was speaking to, he said to me, he said, Andy, what about if you went downtown and got into a fight, or someone got into a fight, and obviously you got found guilty by the courts and went to prison? In a couple of years' time, you'd be out again. You still be able to go downtown and that, wouldn't you? So do you think it's a bit unfair, completely red carded for the rest of your life? And it made me think in a way, because there's a lot of different types of cheating and stuff. I mean, you've got people who have gone out and just done silly things and that, and you've got people who've gone out their way to specifically cheat. And I don't know, maybe I'm a bit harsh. That's my own. It was my own opinion, and it made me think a little bit. And I think that's the whole point of discussions and topics and stuff, isn't it? So everybody's got their own views and stuff. So maybe mine was a bit harsh, but there's got to be some kind of punishment, whether you're not allowed to take part in angling for the next 5 years, or there's got to be ways and means as a punishment, rather than maybe for life. Maybe I was a bit harsh, but I don't know. It made me think, and it's a good thing, really, isn't it? It's at the end of the day, my view is not always going to be correct. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be wrong. But you've got to. That's the whole point of what we're talking about and stuff, and the discussions, is to make the videos a bit more interesting, and it gives people stuff to talk about online and stuff. I mean, the emails, what's coming, the messages and stuff, has been phenomenal with people. But I will say one thing: 5% comment and put comments on, and I would say 95% don't. They'll inbox me directly, and I'm not sure why that is. It's not a bad thing. It's taking part and it's getting involved and stuff. But I think sometimes people don't like the hassle of it all, and think, oh, it's a lot easier if I don't say nothing. The trouble is, if you don't say stuff, people don't know what's going on, and unfortunately, it's going to happen time and time again, isn't it? So you've got to stand up for what you believe in. Really, I'm a great believer of that. But I'm a great believer of it. That we're going to catch a £10 cod today. One of us will see a big cod out today. I think when that tide eases off, we're going to be in a lot better chances of getting one out. But we've got bucket full of bait, so we won't be going home until we got one. But yeah, it's a lovely day. Whales in the background. Size of that one, boys and girls. Bit of a beast. That's where you want to be, out there, but unfortunately we can't cast that far. About half that distance or so, say. But tide's starting to slow down now. We're casting out sort of that direction, and it's pulling us around in front. So yeah, lovely clear day. Little pan around here, look. It's a few angles to the right, and then come up over the top, and that's the bay. It's a bit smaller tide to fish it today. I mean, it'll come up a little bit. You'd be right on the rocks and here where these lads are, but you can fish that on a bigger tide. I mean, thornbacks, codlin, cod, whiting. Not a bad little mark on its day. I'm going to bring mine in now. I've got a feeling if we start hitting them out now, it's going to pull round slightly, not as much. The tide's starting to ease off, coming up towards high water. So mate's jammed in there tight. You've got to use rock bottoms here, really. You will pull through it sometimes, but yeah, he's getting it up. It's pulling right through to the weed and that. But let's see if we can give it a go. So watch the rods, because the tripod's literally jammed right in there. I had a knock earlier on. Didn't come into anything, so see what it gets on. That's up. It's up again. I lost the lead that time, maybe. That's where it drops off. It's bringing the fish up over that there. Definitely slowed down. I mean, the leads are coming right in front of us now. Beforehand they were coming down to the right. I think the lead's still on it as well, which is nice. So how the weed's doing. We've got no weed on the line at the minute. bit of weed up there. Is that a fish? Right there.
Mark.
Piled up. Don't work as a team here with this weed. What the leader knot, the stones there. I mean, when you're on the reefs in the summer months and you're fishing for smoothhound, it's a nightmare. You've got to try and walk up the reef with it. Unfortunately, we've got nowhere to go here at the minute. What I've done is basically left my weight on the top of the water, just so I can literally come up like that, hopefully, and get him back. I mean, some of us had a go at that. Got no weed on it, so hopefully this thing, but probably an eel or something like that, so I tried to have a go at it. Chuck him all back. Get another one out there, see if we can get one out. Okay, now's the time to get those baits out there. It's nice not to lose all your leads all the time. We buy them by the 100 normally from Seacast Leads in Plymouth. Mike and Rob are good lads, always look after us, and make sure we're always in with some crab and a little bit of prawn. So let's give it a go there now. Wayne Jarman sees me doing this, he hates it. So keep the legs, they're lovely. Match fisherman in him, innit? Not for me. I should collect them for him, really. It'd be a nice thing to do, wouldn't it? But no, so we've got the prawn here now. I'm tempted to just take that off. Saw the red there, red in behind there, lovely. So what I'm going to do is fold that down like so. Pull that out through the side of the prawn like that. Okay, crab bait here now. Put the crab bait on the opposite side to the hook point, and then I'm literally going to bind that on like so. See those juices come out of the crab? You don't want to lose all those juices if you can help it. Like so, like that. And then will work its way all the way up to the top. You don't need to use baits like this, guys, to catch cod. Alright, before someone comments and says, oh, you're going overkill, you don't need to do that to catch cod. As I said many a times, we're trying to get a big one out for the competition we're in at the minute. And it's one of them. We're probably going to not get as many fish doing so, but hopefully we get bigger fish doing so. Alright, so I've got that there. I'm basically going to touch the bottom of that off there like that now. Alright, and I've got my pedal hook, so I'm going to bring down to the top of the bait like so, set him up 1, 2, 3 over like that, bring him right down through the top of the bait, and then I've got 2 hooks there out proud, ready to rock and roll. Towel up. Let's get another one out then. That was the one. That is right out there, up over that drop off now. Hopefully we can see a fish on that. Mate, that was it. Look at that tide. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic day. Perfect Saturday on the rocks. Guys to the right of us has just packed up. A few guys for a bit further around. There's the bridges. Just need that knock now. It's coming to fish time again. Need that tide to drop off really, and then it'll start fishing again hopefully. Okay folks, I'm going to set up another rod now as the tide's easing off. I've gone for a squid bait, alright. Try and get a fawny out. Just like the old squid up here. Down. It's pennelled. Exactly the same rig, just really short rigs I like to use up here. Definitely 100 pound rig bodies. I'll walk over there and cast them out. Right, that's that one sent to the horizon. Hopefully we can see some fish out. So the tide's starting to slow down properly now as we approach high water. Second rods are out as well with ray baits on, and I've got squid on that one, and we've got prawn and crab on the other ones. So we are literally hitting them to the horizon now, and I've lost one rig so far. Literally, what I think happens is it drops down off these rocks, goes down onto like weed and that, and then drops down again. But I'm pretty sure as it drops off, there's stone or stuff there, because I've had it a couple of times over the years where the leader just comes back cut. And what I think it is, it's just a wear and tear as you're bringing it up through. But just constant pressure. That's all it is. I mean, you don't need a casting horizon here. You'll get fish right underneath the rocks right in front of you. But we're trying to get to that deeper water. That's the only reason we're casting out to where we are. But we're using massive baits as well, which is not helping. But we've had a couple of knocks here and there, but probably smaller fish. But it's the sacrifice we make from using bigger baits and bigger hooks. Someone said the other day on the channel, you don't need it to catch fish. Like 4-0's perfect, 5-0's. I always like to use a half decent size hook, even if I'm using worm baits, you know what I mean? But no. 2 o'clock high water. The time is now 12:15. So we've got a good go at it now as a tide, sort of like 4 hours over the top of the tide and that. Probably going to go off and get a coffee and then come back. And there's a lot of waiting around in Vogue because the gappers are saying it's like a tide, and the fish don't like that fast tide. You always want a bit of tide there. There's a lot of tide still there now. Obviously your rod tips are bending over and stuff, but you just want it to calm down a little just to get the fish back on the feed. But I was speaking to one of the local guys who fishes up here a lot, and he's decided to fish a point today because he's obviously fished further around and stuff. And he was saying it's probably the worst he's seen it fish in a long time. So only fish what's been out was that one I had earlier on. But we're approaching sort of like high water, so you've always got a chance of a high and over low. A bit late early this morning when we got up here for low water setup, where we could have done with being here 2 hours earlier, and I think we'd have seen a few more fish.
Yeah, definitely.
But unfortunately, it was the difference between getting up at, what time did you get up this morning, Gav?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock this morning he got up. It's the difference between that or getting up at midnight. Believe it or not, we went to Wales the other New Year's Eve. Me and Gav literally got up, didn't even go to sleep. I think it was a case of putting your head down for half an hour and open your eyes again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a mission, I mean a mission. We never stayed over there. We fished all day, fished all night, and then drove back 24 hours of being awake. And I think if I ever done that sort of stuff again, especially being a bit older now, definitely worth getting a Premier Inn or a travel lodge. I mean, go house on it or whatever, and a couple of you in a family room, it works out as cheap as chips. But you get to enjoy fishing around the country then. But I think we're going to plan to go up Scotland this year, up to have a go for a skate and spur and a tow. So I've not been up there yet. So I think we're going to try and get up there at some point. It's been out there for a little while now. No, I've got a feeling it's not touched. But the trouble is, because you're using the crab, you haven't, the scent sort of like comes out of it, especially in the tide. So you do want to use fresh baits as much as you can. It's been out there 20-25 minutes or more. It's time to bring it in. We're here, he's up. He's up. Keep him coming. Whee. Slippery rocks. Still the lead's there, I think. I'm hoping so. Yeah, he's coming up right. Lead's still there. Weed around my leader knot again. Hopefully it goes through the eyes. No, he's not going to. So what I'm going to do, Gav, just
Yeah, can I pull him off?
drop a tip there.
Okay.
Right.
You ready? Take it right.
Yeah, if you can. So I don't lose my lead. He's up. Nothing wrong with the bait. I'll show you what we're doing here, look. So it's like, I could describe it as mayweed. It's what you get, it's just where build up of weed just goes around your leader knot. And it's a nightmare because you can't get it through your eyes. So yeah, it's all ready to rock and roll. Working down there, mate, I'll swim up now. There you go, just gonna get another one baited up. So I've gone for something a bit different at the minute. The reason being, we're here, slipping on my feet. The reason being is I want to try and get a bit more scent in the water. So I've just gone for a bluey bait. Just try something different. I mean, I've been putting the same baits out constantly, time after again. And yeah, just to see, mix things up and see if it works. That's all we can do, isn't it? So I'll get this one up now. Got a bit of an audience up there today. It's fishing very slow in a minute, guys. Very slow. baits aren't getting touched though, so it's every chance. Look at that. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. So high water, perfect tide for it here today. Don't want nothing massive. 9 metre, perfect really. You want nothing too big. Wouldn't be on here if not either. Quite lucky it's flat calm today, but when those boats been coming in, the rollers been coming up towards our feet. But no, it's ideal, perfect for it. Just no fish. Fish as soon as we got here with first thing this morning, and not a touch all day. I haven't seen a fish out. Unless mate looks like he's got one on there, doesn't he? Looks like he's just pulling through some weed. Let's have a look. So that's where we were fishing earlier on, the other side of the, some would call it a lighthouse. I call it a ladder with a light on top. But yeah, we were fishing just off at the front of that there now. And now we've come onto the bay. So we've both got 2 rods out to the left hand side of the bay, just out of the tide. You can see the tide line there now. We've got 2 rods in there, and darkness is just about to come upon us. It's starting to get a bit chilly really, but yeah, we've got 2 in there for a thornback ray, and then we've got 2 out for cod still. Now my hopes aren't very good at the minute, due to the fact the lad what we were speaking to you earlier on down here, Lee, his name was Lee, wasn't it? His mate was down here yesterday and they never seen a fish out apparently. We've seen 1 fish out here all day today. It's hard to put it down to, but there's a lot of fresh water coming down through the last couple of days, so it's one of them. But we've seen a fish out, so there are fish there. With the tide which has come in as well, it's going to help us out a little bit. But the lines are singing away in the tide right there, holding lovely. We're in every chance of a fish. But no, what a view that is though, that. What a view. Probably one of the deepest marks on the English side of the channel, this Battery Point. And yeah, been a lovely day. So that's our day, an absolutely fantastic day. Unfortunately the fish didn't pay ball, just that 1 cod out, and what else you can do? What else can you do? I'm gonna probably get a batter mix and do a bit of fish and chips for me and the missus tomorrow night. But yeah, from us all on the Bristol Channel, to the next time, and we're heading out down to the Plymouth area very shortly to hopefully try and target that big one once again. But I think there was a lot of rainwater come down through. I'm not sure what the conditions were, really good really, but unfortunately it just wasn't our day. But yeah, tight lines, to the next time.